All right, welcome. My name is Anya Grace. Thank you for attending the 3 Keys to True Beauty. I'm actually redoing the webinar because there was a little bit of a mess up with the recording. So brand new, but the same content. So those of you who were there live, this will be very similar to what you experienced. So we'll just dive right in. So the title of this webinar, 3 Keys to True Beauty, How to Harness Your Feminine Power and Confidence Through Mental, Physical, and Spiritual Health, is essentially the core of what I teach. And I chose the word true beauty for this particular webinar because beauty is such a core part of our power as women. But true beauty is the absolute. This is where we really, our true beauty, there's a difference between true beauty and just our external beauty. So in this webinar, that's what we will be exploring and discovering, is how to tap into that true beauty. So whether we allow ourselves to feel it or not, every woman desires to be seen. Our beauty is an aspect of our power, like I said, because as women, we hold the energy of Shakti. Shakti is the magnetic, creative potential, the sexual energy of the universe that's manifesting and creating form again and again and again. Mother Nature is the most powerful expression of Shakti there is. And as we all know, Mother Nature grabs our attention. Like, she's not holding back. She's unapologetic. She is unleashed and wild and free, and she's so beautiful. And that's what I want you to feel, is that just like nature, you have such a power inside of you. And that when we tap into that soul level beauty, that's when, the world begins to truly see us for who we are. So true beauty is the beauty that resonates and radiates from our heart and our soul. It's who we are individually and as a whole. So this beauty is both infinite and individual. When a woman is holding her true beauty, she's expressing the entire universe. And she's also unique and never to be repeated again. So how do we unlock this soul level beauty? And that's what we will discover today. So the 3 keys to true beauty are mental and emotional health, physical health, and spiritual health. So the first, mental and emotional health, is where we ultimately go into our subconscious and conscious patterns. We have individual subconscious and conscious patterns, and we have collective conscious and subconscious patterns. So oftentimes these patterns, when we don't go in and look at them, they can really hold us back. So this process of going in and alchemizing these mental and emotional patterns allows us to uproot programming that doesn't serve us as women, and really embodying our true power. And then from that, after we uproot the programming, we connect with a higher guidance, we connect with your soul level truth. And that reprogramming of these subconscious beliefs changes the external behavior that you exhibit, which ultimately transforms your life. You begin to attract more empowering relationships. You also find yourself more empowered at work or just out in the world, speaking, talking, connecting with strangers, or connecting with your family. You really feel like you're in your power when we go in and adjust these mental and emotional patterns. The second step is physical alchemy. So physical alchemy occurs as we do this mental and emotional work, because when one area changes, another area will change as well. So as you're transforming your mental and emotional patterns, your body will begin to shift as well. This is really, really important, because as this shift happens mentally and emotionally, the body will begin to really need to hold a bigger energy. So the physical alchemy that we do is through movement and exercise, often yoga. I love yoga, I teach yoga. And we regenerate the cells and restructure the current body so it can actually hold more of your Shakti, more of your divine feminine energy, and ultimately radiate more powerfully. So obviously this increases your external beauty, but it's because it's connecting from that true, deep, internal soul level. And the third key that I just love so much is the spiritual health, the spiritual alchemy. So this is the most important step to harnessing your true beauty, because as women, like I said earlier, we embody Shakti. And Shakti is the creative potential, the sexual energy of the universe, manifesting form, creating life. As women, we can hold a baby. So we're physical representations of the cosmic womb. Our individual womb is a representation of the larger cosmic womb, where our bodies are shaped as a figure 8, again, representing this infinite potential that we hold, this infinite energy, this creative potential. So when we do this work of spiritually alchemizing our soul, we ultimately connect to a force that is so much greater than just our individual self. And this is critical because what this allows us to do is connect with our deepest worth as women. When we connect with when we realize our connection to source, we ultimately take on such a greater power. And then we walk into a room and we're holding that knowing, that secret, that depth, and everybody is attracted to it and enticed because it's truth, it's power, it's beautiful. So really honing in and connecting spiritually, whatever that looks like to you, it can look so many different ways. That is such a big key to harnessing true beauty. So I'll tell you a little bit about me. I grew up in Northern California, up in Humboldt County. I didn't write this in my notes, but I actually grew up river guiding with my dad. He owned a rafting company when I was really little. And so I grew up on the river. Every summer, my family would go up and I would spend 20 to 40 days out on the river, and really connected to nature at an early age, and connected with the river, that powerful water force. And it's a big part of my heart. And for the last 5 or so years, I've been teaching yoga up in Silicon Valley and the Bay Area. I just recently moved down south a bit, but it has really allowed me to dive into this work of the divine feminine. East West Woman has come out as an extension of the work I've been doing for years with yoga and with my clients up in Silicon Valley, teaching at the Stanford Mindfulness Center and Samsung and other major companies. So I've been working in this field for a while, and I'm really grateful to be truly finding this niche that I love so, so deeply, helping women understand the true power that we hold, because we hold so much. So this work really fills my heart. So I individually work with clients, and this has been such a powerful process for so many people. One of my clients said recently, I see my relationships more clearly and I understand why they are in my life. And I also see that it is not mine, but collective. I feel that my power is getting back. I feel stronger, and I'm slowly changing my relationships. My confidence and energy level is rising. I also understand that working with you is a needed and necessary part of my inner work. And I love that she was talking about her relationships and seeing why her relationships are in her life, and that her relationships are truly lessons around her collective patterning. And these people are coming into her life to teach her lessons and to help her as she steps into her power, really say, okay, this is serving me and this is not serving me. So this is some of the work I do with people, is really help them look at the relationships that are currently in their life and how they're serving them, and how we can grow within those relationships to embody our full power as women. Another one of my clients, beautiful Lexi, said recently, I feel so peaceful. You were spot on. I was so ready for this. I had the most relaxing weekend. Thank you so much. I noticed that my stomach has not been knotted in about a month. This is a testament to you and the work. So this was after a meditation that we went through in one of our sessions. And she just, it was so powerful. And I was reflecting back to her that it was like everything that we were working with, she just seeped in so quickly, and it was like her life transformed instantly. It was absolutely miraculous, so beautiful. So again, just super rewarding and grateful to be here working with all of you. I love this quote by Wayne Dyer. I wonder why this little thing is up here. I wonder if I could get rid of that. Yeah. Okay. Transformation literally means to go beyond your form. So this quote, for one, I love Wayne Dyer so much. He's so beautiful. This quote connects to this idea of true beauty, because ultimately, we're in a world where we're so physically oriented. We're getting bombarded with agendas and different advertisements all the time, and so much of it is about physical beauty, and we interpret this as true beauty, and we think their value comes from a perfect body or perfect hair or makeup and all those things, clothing. And yes, those things, they can help us feel beautiful, but true beauty really does come from a non-physical place. True beauty moves beyond the physical form and into the mental and emotional and spiritual plane. So that's what we are discovering today. We are always changing, and it's really up to us to, align with our highest potential and our truth and our soul, and listen to our desires and act accordingly to what's possible for us. But it really takes our own work, our self-work, our worthiness, our time, our diligence, and that depth to take on this work and to transform into our highest potential as women. I also think it's important that if you're here, you're at a certain stage in your unfoldment that you are drawn to this work, and that's beautiful. Just is a testament to your soul and your soul's unraveling and unfoldment, and where you're at on your journey. Yes, in this life, but also on a more cosmic plane too. So you're part of this ascension process. You're part of the empowerment of the feminine, and it's so beautiful. Okay, so my transformation. On the picture here on the left, that was back when I was in college, and it was a time in my life where, yes, externally I was, quote unquote beautiful, but I didn't feel it internally at all. I was so insecure. I truly believed that my worth was my body, and that I had to have a perfect body in order to be worthy of love and romance and attract a man. And so I was over exercising. I was had a very weird relationship with food that was challenging me. I was binge eating almost every night. I was stealing peanut butter from my housemate's, cupboard. And it was a really hard time, because I was like, I don't understand why I'm hurting so much. I hadn't really gone into the depths of my past and into my past pain to explore and understand the underlying patterns that I was holding. And really what was happening is they were just all bubbling up in past trauma and, deep insecurities, lineage patterns from my mom. All of that was really bubbling up from the surface. At the time I was studying neuroscience, so on top of it, I was extremely stressed out from school. But the beauty of that is that that stress and this hormonal imbalance that I really found myself in ultimately drew me to yoga. And it was through yoga that I found the divine feminine wisdom, which truly saved my life. So this picture on the left, really represents a time where I was attracting relationships again and again that were hurting me mentally and emotionally, physically. I definitely received and experienced some sexual trauma during that time that since then has been a big process of actually my empowerment, is healing from those experiences. So again, this work is so sacred, and we all get to hold whatever experiences we have had in our hearts, knowing that ultimately that pain can become our power. As I said back in Elevated Woman in the interview series that we did way back when. And now, this picture on the right was just taken a few months back. And this, you know, just this process of truly doing the alchemy, this inner alchemy, and coming into true beauty, where this alignment and inspiration can flow in, and our bodies become a vessel for truth and for power and for beauty. So that is what is possible when we all really dive in and do this work. So my mission is to help as many men and women clear their lower subconscious patterns and limiting beliefs, and reconnect with the elevated masculine and feminine power. So it's kind of like this. We have it, if you look at it like an X, we have these higher we all have the masculine and feminine energy, and we have higher patterns, higher potential. Think of a king and a queen, and the honor and the dignity and the elegance and the beauty and power that those archetypes behold at their absolute highest. And then, you know, some of the lower pattern that we have fallen into, the abuse and the, you know, just the over-identification with form, and the physical focus, the sexual. Anyway, there's so much that we're caught in right now in the physical world, and we've lost touch with our highest potential and our highest power. So my vision is to live in a world where the power of the woman is recognized inherently and absolutely, where feminine beauty and creativity is honored, upheld, and protected. So this means that within both women and children, which are little embodiments of the feminine energy, and the feminine energy in men, that we revalue this in the whole world. I truly believe that when that happens, we can come back into balance, and this glass ceiling that we're all under right now, where the toxic masculine has kind of like capped us because they think that, you know, the toxic masculine is a force that right now is holding us at a certain level, thinking that this is as high as we can go, when truly, like, when the feminine rises up, we all rise up. So that's truly my vision for the world, is that as we continue this ascension process, that we rise together, both men and women, the masculine and the feminine energy. It all comes up together. I love this quote. And the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. So what I see right now happening in women is a breaking through of the patterns that we have that are holding us back. So for many, many years, for most of my life, for, you know, most of our lives, we have been fighting against our own power. And we have been receiving information and messages that tell us that we are only a certain level of power and beauty and potential, and that we have to kind of stick in this small box, when really, when we release and we unleash ourselves, we're queens and priestesses and powerful goddesses that are just roaming the earth. But we get to align ourselves back with that truth. So I love the archetypes, the sort of the modern day heroine, you know, these archetypes like Moana and Belle from Beauty and the Beast. And I think it's Eva. I forget the little character's name from Frozen, but each of these characters, you know, these heroines, especially Wonder Woman, obviously, each of these characters have this shared experience of being suppressed and unseen and trapped, you know, whether it be physically or in a small village where they're really not understood by the seemingly outer world, but there's an internal power that they know is there, and they're fighting against it almost every day, because it's like, oh, that's who they are, but the world is telling them, don't be that powerful. And it's when we break free and unleash ourselves that we become truly what we're here to be, which is divine embodiments of the feminine walking on earth. We own what makes us special rather than push it away. And when we unleash this pure feminine power, this is how we connect with our true beauty. We shine from such a deep sense of self-love and worth that the whole world just stops and stares, because they know that is the potential within them as well. So when we free ourselves as women, we actually give other women and other men and everybody the opportunity to see what's possible. So it's actually a detriment if we don't do this work and we don't truly go in and reconnect with that power. So, alchemy. So the effect of not doing this work is that we give our power away again and again. Until we as women until you see your value and you own your power, all of us, we keep giving our power away and we perpetuate a karmic cycle. And we don't have to do it anymore. It truly is like momentary bursts of just choosing, no, I'm going to choose a different experience right now that breaks the patterns. I've experienced it in my own life where I'm like, okay, this experience isn't feeling that good right now. This experience with a lover or a man, or it's not feeling good. And rather than just going with it and feeling like this is all I can get, or this is what I deserve, or, I realize that it's up to me to say, no, this is not okay with me. This is not my standard. I deserve everything I want and more. So it's really learning how to connect with our truth, learning how to connect with our soul and our core desires, and reconnect with our feelings and revalue our feelings, because these are all of the guideposts that can lead us in the right direction and lead us to our fullest potential, to our power. So when we connect with this, we can do the karmic clearing and break out of perpetuating these lower collective world patterns that so many people are challenged by right now. So it's really about learning that, remembering that we are, every single one of us, every single woman is worthy of being honored and being valued at her fullest potential as a goddess. But it's up to us to make that shift happen. So I love this picture of the rose, because the rose is my favorite representation of the divine masculine, because the rose represents the divine masculine and feminine, because the rose itself represents the divine feminine power, the divine feminine essence. Literally, there's smell that emanates and permeates this world. And when you're walking by a rose bush, like if you're like, pretty much every single time I have to stop and smell the roses, not because any other reason, but that they're magnetic and they just pull, they pull us in. And so this is the power that you have as a woman if you allow yourself to unlock it and connect back to your true beauty and connect back to this deep, deep, deep level of energy that's inside of you, and let it unleash and re-own it and value it. Is you become this rose, you become this flower that when blossomed, when open, when fully exposed, expressed, and unleashed in the world unapologetically, you become a magnet. You're so beautiful that everybody wants to stop and experience you. And you also get to be supported and protected by a stem, providing, feeding, providing for you and supplying for you everything that you need so that you can blossom into the most powerful version of yourself. So step 1. Mental and emotional alchemy. So the first step to this true beauty is mental and emotional alchemy, like we were saying. One, really understand that we're working within a collective a collective patterning. So what's happening across the world right now to women is affecting us. And what's happening, a few houses down and we don't know it, is affecting us. All the injustice that's still occurring in the world, whether it's happening in our lives at present or not, is still affecting us. So what we get to do individually is break those subconscious patterns and become aware of them, bring them to the surface, bring them up and beat so that they're conscious, so that we can shift our programming, say no, like I was saying earlier, we say no, and we clear up space for a higher guidance, a higher possibility, that queen, king archetype energy to come in. We begin to embody a reprogrammed, we reprogram our subconscious mind, and we really begin to embody our highest potential. We adopt empowering beliefs about our beauty and our worth, and ultimately we choose behavior and we make choices that reflect that deepest sense of power and beauty and worth that we know we are worthy of. So if you have experienced patterns in your life that are coming up again and again, this could be a relationship. Maybe you broke up with one guy, or a guy broke up with you, or just partner, and yet like a few months later you find yourself attracting the same kind of relationship. So this can be a sign that the pattern is historical and it's coming from this collective subconscious. There's a pattern in it that other women are experiencing as well. And if you do the work to break that pattern for your own life, you're also helping so many women who maybe aren't at the level soul-wise that you are, to clear that energy as well and empower them, even if they're not necessarily in the position to do so, which is devastating, but sometimes that's not the case. So just take a note. If you have some paper, write it down. Just write down if any of these are familiar to you, perhaps that you have felt in the past that you're not, you don't feel good enough in some way, that you feel like, all right, when I lose these 10 pounds, then I can have blank. Then I will be attractive enough for. If I had a few less wrinkles, then maybe I would be seen more by my lover. Maybe he would blank, blank, blank. So this feeling that we're not enough and there's always something we could do more, always something, no matter how perfected we are, hair, skin, nails, clothes, there's always something more that we could do to become more attractive. This is a pattern that so many women hold. And part of reconnecting with our true beauty is not necessarily resisting that thought, but becoming so aware of when that pattern comes up and saying, you know what, that's not true. For one, like, I am worthy right now, no matter what. And reconnecting with that true power, which comes from your soul. It comes from your heart, that your value is your essence, and it has nothing to do ultimately with these external physical characteristics. So another pattern that comes from this collective subconscious patterning, programming, is having a suppressed voice. So for eons as women, our voices have been literally like, suppressed. And so how this can show up in our lives today is a fear of speaking up, literally feeling like you can't talk. I've definitely had that before in love relationships and sexual experiences where I'm like, I can't talk, and learning how to break free of that and use our voice powerfully and from a place of our soul and our womb space, this heart-centered voice that ultimately can transform the world. So if you felt like you've had your voice has been suppressed, you have a fear of speaking up about what you really want, perhaps in a sexual experience or with your partner or a friend or at work, any of those these are just examples, but this fear and inability almost to speak up. So this can be a sign that, again, this is a collective subconscious pattern that you hold. Another pattern that so many women hold is jealousy of other women. This is a very low frequency. Of course, we've all experienced it. Like, we've all experienced it. And, I do so much work around this, and still sometimes I find myself feeling jealous, and it's okay. It's just, again, it's about noticing when it comes up, acknowledging it's a subconscious pattern program, and choosing to bring some light to it, to bring some spiritual light, whatever light helps to diffuse and help you connect back to your true source of power, which is that you are a unique, divine, individual expression of the universe. And so there's nobody like you. There's nobody like you, and that is your value. And the more you own the individual essence that you are, the more the world will value you too. So there's more of these, but I'm just, for the sake of time, I'll just move on. There'll be an opportunity at the end of this call for you to sign up to book a call with me, and you can explore some more personal patterns with me. And so, if you feel like you have some questions around this collective patterning, just write a little note, and you can ask me those questions in person. So right now, I want you to take a mental note or write it down on a piece of paper. Rate yourself from a 1 to 10, 1 being like not the best, 10 being, okay, yes, I'm super empowered in this space. Rate yourself and your mental and emotional health. Notice, just think back briefly to this year, and just think about where you're at. Are you okay with where you're at mentally and emotionally? Do you find yourself feeling empowered, sending yourself good thoughts and loving thoughts and empowering thoughts? Or do you find yourself breaking yourself down all the time? We all do this. I do it still, but just write down a number, and this can be a good way to kind of keep track, because sometimes we can go in a high and then we can, forget about all our powerful practices. So just write down a number from 1 to 10, 10 being the most empowered. Yes, I got it. I send myself good thoughts, and I don't need any help or support in this space. So just take a moment to do that. So one of the greatest takeaways for this step here in reconnecting with your true beauty is just remembering that as women, you don't need to fit into this world, but that the more you orient yourself to your core values and you value your desires and your needs, the world ultimately begins to treat you as a goddess, because every goddess has a unique essence. Like there's Lakshmi, there's Durga, there's all these goddesses and these divine feminine archetypes in every culture worldwide, universally. And each one has a different essence, and but they're all honored. They're all honored because the world knows that these individual goddesses, these archetypes, are so valuable. And it's like when we begin to embody that individual essence, ourself, our soul essence, that's when our mental and emotional health comes back into balance. And this alchemy happens, and we ultimately own our power and connect with our true beauty. All right, so the next step to reconnecting with true beauty is physical alchemy. So physical alchemy, again, really connects to this mental and emotional alchemy as well, where as we shake it up, our patterns, our body will begin to shift as well. As our body shifts, again, our mental and emotional patterns shift as well. So they're linked. Like we said earlier, Shakti is the divine feminine energy. And the more we move, we begin to activate this energy and get it flowing. We get to be creative. It's like dancing. So movement is key, really, really key in harnessing our power as women and connecting with our true beauty. And through this process of exercise, yoga, dance, fluid movement, all of this work, this physical alchemy, we begin to structure the physical body to hold more spiritual light and divine feminine power. So again, movement is key. So ask yourself right now if clarity has been something that you're seeking, because sometimes we can just feel confused, and often this confusion or lack of clarity can be a sign that there's unresolved energy and charge in the body. So there's some really, really powerful physical practices that I do with clients that can release the trauma in the body through shaking. These tension release exercises, they're absolutely phenomenal. They've been a huge part of my practice. And they've really, they just ultimately help release the charge, the stuck energy that's in the body. So movement, dance, yoga, all of those things can really support you in alchemizing your body physically. Also breath work, pranayama, meditation, cleansing actions. There's Ayurveda, self-care, water therapy. There's so many things we can do. Actually, for the last 3 weeks almost, I have been jumping in the Pacific Ocean every day. I go for a run and I jump in the ocean, and I do like 3 plunges, these 3 symbolic plunges, and it's so clarifying for my physical body. It's alchemizing. So really doing this work to clear out the body, to prepare it for our third key, which is our spiritual alchemy. We want a clear vessel. You want to have a clear physical vessel so that you can move from the physical plane to the more spiritual plane. If you're feeling lethargic, numb, depressed, low, sexual energy is blocked, all of those can be signs that your physical vessel is blocked. You can also adjust the physical vessel through diet and through the food that you're intaking. So, I'm pretty gentle on this stuff when I work with clients, because so many of us as women have very delicate relationships with food, and I think it is a topic that gets to be really supported in a gentle way. So through this physical alchemy, we balance the heart chakra, we balance all the chakras ultimately, but definitely the sacral chakra, the root chakra, the heart chakra, the throat chakra, 4 really important chakras that we as women get to work with, because they're often the chakras that have the greatest hit from some of the trauma that we have collectively. All right, so the last key to unlock your true beauty and connect with your lasting source of beauty, confidence, and strength is spiritual health. So as I spoke to earlier, our connection with source, with God, if you call it God or spirit, the universe, whatever it is the number one most important aspect to harnessing your power as a woman and truly radiating beauty from the inside out. And the way I work with my clients on this is ultimately through a daily meditation. This is the number one strongest way we can tap into the creative impulse of the universe, is when we close our eyes, we come into that stillness, we come into that darkness, we reconnect with where we come from, we reconnect with source energy, and we get so intimate with this source of energy that, everywhere we go, again, like the world sees us in a new way. When somebody looks at us, they can recognize a truth in us, and it draws them in. So we become these alchemizers on the planet when we connect spiritually, whatever way it is. Once we've done this, the physical, mental clearing and the emotional reorganization, the spiritual practice is where we really get to play with the universe and become a manifestress. We manifest our life, all of the desires that we have. We get to be creative, just like the universe itself, and come into what's in alignment for you. This is truly the step where you revolutionize your relationship with your worth. You realize that your worth, who you are, is beyond the physical, truly beyond the physical. We're in this physical body, but I'm speaking right now, and my awareness, my consciousness is beyond my physical body. It's connected to something so much more powerful, so much greater. And just knowing that, having one foot out, one foot in, that inward foot is connected with this spiritual source, allows us to always be connected with something greater, and gives us the strength. in regards to beauty, this, the physical beauty that we're experiencing on the planet, we, there's so much talk about youthfulness, and everybody wants to be youthful and ageless. And I believe that through the spiritual alchemy that we do become ageless. We become timeless, and our beauty doesn't matter. The age doesn't matter ultimately, because our energy is what is time. Energy is timeless. Energy is literally timeless. Like, time doesn't exist for energy. Energy just flows. So when we can tap into our spiritual source, we become timeless. We have this goddessence, this goddess glow that I call it, where, it could exist in a little 4-year-old and an 84-year-old. And they both hold this spiritual glow. It's so powerful. We are not matter. We are not matter. We are energy, and we transcend time. So the more we can connect with this knowing inside of our hearts, we become an embodiment of this force. All right. So, I don't know if we rated ourselves for the physical health. So just take a moment to rate yourself again for both the physical health and your spiritual connection, your spiritual relationship. Beautiful. And just take note of that, and without judgment, just notice where you're at. All right, so the secret. The secret to all of this is that through this entire process, what we've been talking about, diving in mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, you are activating your feminine energy. The divine feminine is about going inward, diving into the subconscious mind, which is the feminine force, the cosmic womb, the physical womb space, the heart space, connecting back to compassion and gentleness and healing yourself, returning to love. And this is the energy that you bring forth through this work, through this alchemy. And what's beautiful about this style of work, and what, this specific style of coaching and mentoring that I do, it's really inspired by my teachers, is that it's ultimately life transformation and coaching work, but it's through a feminine process. So it's not about forcing change or anything about competition or breaking things down. It's really a gentle process, because compassion and gentleness and love are the things that this world is needing. And it's so powerful when you can be one of the very few individuals that are ultimately bringing this energy forward on the earth right now. And you are that. We're working together right now. So nothing is more powerful to activate the divine feminine than to do this alchemical work. Nothing is more powerful than to reharness your energy as a woman. The more intimate you become with yourself, the more intimate you can become with other people. You build depth. And the deeper you are, the more attractive and magnetic and powerful you are. This true beauty that you've been hiding from the world ultimately is only experienced when we reconnect with our soul desires and what our soul ultimately wants to reveal. So very, very, very potent and powerful work. So if any of this information has resonated with you at all, I invite you to explore working with me deeper. My mentoring program, the High Priestess Empowerment, is a program that we work individually, one-on-one, to personally explore what we've talked about today, this physical, mental, emotional, spiritual alchemy, so that you can understand what individual patterns you're dealing with and how you can break through the limiting beliefs and patterns that are holding you back, whether it be in romantic relationship, at work, with your purpose. And it's during these 6 months that you truly transform your current beliefs about what's possible for you. And you step into your power and begin to manifest everything that you truly want. You step into living your highest feminine essence and power. Some of the results my clients have experienced through this process is feeling more confident and empowered in general. They have more intimate, fun-loving relationships. They have more energy. They're connected to their feminine power and voice, and they have increased physical, mental, and emotional health. And change really is possible, and transformation happens so quick, super quickly, when we align with our highest potential and we listen to our desires and trust ourselves. So ask yourself, which of these areas do you want to improve? Is it the physical? Is it the mental, emotional? Is it the spiritual? Do you want to feel more confident? Do you want to finally feel seen for your beauty and your gifts? Or do you want to feel more empowered romantically in sex? So identify what it is that you want to transform right now, and jump on a call with me. I'm sending you a link with this webinar, and truly we'll connect, we'll talk, and really hone in on what is most important to you right now. It's a free strategy call, and no matter what, if we end up working together long-term or not, you'll walk away from this call with a blueprint of what's possible for you, the next step for you in harnessing your feminine power. So again, all of these experiences, all of this transformation that so many of my clients have experienced, deeper connection with your own guide, source, higher power, connecting with your voice. There are 6 elements: health, beauty, love, intimacy, relationship, and abundance. And again, it looks different with every single person because it's truly a one-on-one experience. The way it works is we do 13 calls, 45 minutes. They're all one-on-one. I send you recorded lessons, recorded healings and meditations. We have weekly communication and, again, personalized alchemy, meditations, exercises, and I love the mindset accountability. And so it's very, very powerful work. So just to leave it at this, if you can take away anything from this webinar, this is what I want you to remember, and that is that you are the source of breaking the cycle for yourself and for your family, for your children, for your mother, your grandmother. It really begins with you. It starts with you, and you must be willing to do the work. So looking at those numbers that you have written down or that you stored away in your mind, and you think about where you're at, are you at a 4 or 5? What would it be like? What would be possible for you if that number were truly a 10? What would a relationship be like if you were at a 10 in your own empowerment as a woman? What would it be like if you felt empowered and strong and confident every day? So what would be possible for you if you could look back at your last 6 months and know that you made the most powerful choice for yourself and really dove into doing this work to show up in the world powerfully? So there's only a few spots I have to work with people because I really want it to be a super powerful connection that feels resonant with me as well. So again, make sure you click the link to sign up to do a strategy call with me. And no matter if we end up working together long-term or not, this is such a beautiful offering that you get to, just get inspired again if you're feeling like you're in a little lull or having some confusion come up. So please don't wait at all to do this. It's going to fill up really fast, and the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. So this is the first step for you right now, and you have a window to step into your highest beauty and expression. Let this year be super powerful, and again, I love you all, and I so appreciate you listening to this and tuning in. There's so much inside of you that is ready to be unleashed. You get to be that rose, you get to be that priestess, the queen, Wonder Woman, all of those archetypes that are unapologetic, powerful, beautiful, special, seen by the world, because that is you, that is me, that is all of us, and that's our potential. So I love you. Please make sure you book a call, and I will talk to you in person. All right. Sending lots and lots of love.